Mr. Speaker, sir, I seek a clarification of a response given by the Honourable Member, Mr. Leon Perera, to the Minister, Mr. Ong Ye Kung, yesterday. As may be recalled, the Honourable Member, Mr. Perera, mentioned in relation to GST that the Workers' Party accepted the GST at 7% and conveyed this in 2018. Now, my interest is that I actually spoke about the Workers' Party position from 1993, when the GST bill was being introduced, all the way to date. And I checked the Hansard. So I seek clarification from the Honourable Member as to when and where this position of the Workers' Party was articulated. Thank you.
I thank the Honourable Member, Mr. Murali Pillai, for that question. What I had said, and I'll repeat that here, is that if you go back to those debates in Parliament in 2018, we opposed a hike of GST from 7% to 9%. At no point in that debate did we call for the GST to be lowered from 7% to 0%. Mr. Pillai makes reference to positions that were articulated by the Workers' Party in the 1990s. I don't know whether it's fair to bring up positions that were taken in the 1990s and have a debate about that. By the same token, I could bring up positions that the PAP has taken in the 1990s and table that for discussion here, such as the graduate mothers policy, such as votes for upgrading, for example. So I think the point here is that at no point since the idea of a GST hike from 7% to 9% was first mooted and put on the table here in Parliament, which is in 2018, as I recall, at no point did anyone in the Workers' Party call for the GST to be lowered from 7% to 0%. And if there is anyone, or if there's any evidence or reference that the member can make for anyone in the Workers' Party making that specific call, then we would be glad to discuss that. Thank you.
Mr. Pillai.
I thank the Honourable Member, Mr. Perera, for clarifying that the acceptance of the stance of GST being at 7% is to be implied from the fact that in 2018, when it was proposed by the government to increase the GST from 7% to 9%, the Workers' Party did not ask for a reduction of the percentage. Just on a point of elucidation, GST wasn't being increased for the first time in 2018. It was actually being increased progressively from 3% to 4% to 5%. And in around 2007, it was increased from 5% to 7%. So I take it that as far as my learned friend, or rather the Honourable Member, Mr. Perera, is concerned, this implicit decision to accept GST was made in 2018 when the government conveyed its decision to propose an increase of GST from 7% to 9%. And if that's the case, then I think we have a happy situation, because the gulf or the gap between the Workers' Party and the PAP is now narrowed from 9% to now 2%. Thank you.
Mr. Perera.
I thank the Honourable Member for his statements, and just to reiterate, when this idea of GST was mooted, we did not call for any reduction of the GST rate from 7% to 0%. So that is indeed the position, and that will be borne out if you go back to those debates from 2018 until now. And I would again remind the member with respect that if we are to bring up policy positions that have been taken decades ago and table them for debate, then I think the policies of the PAP from decades ago should also be put here and table for debate as well. But I don't think that that would be constructive, because everyone evolves their position as conditions evolve. And I think for us in the Workers' Party, and it may be the same for the PAP, whenever we have to make a decision on whether to take a position on a policy, you look at all the options that are there on the table and you decide what is in the best interest of the country, what is rational, what is fact-based, and you take a position at that point in time on that particular issue. Thank you, but I thank the member for his comments.
Mr. Pillai.
I thank again Mr. Perera for his answers. And maybe, Your Honour, if I could clarify, my interest in relation to raising the position of the Workers' Party from the 90s is with respect, not unfair, because what we need is clarity on where the Workers' Party, and for that reason, any party stands on important issues. So if it indeed had evolved, then it will be incumbent on any party to then make that position very clear so the public understands where the parties are on these important issues. Thank you.
I'm honored, Mr. Murali, but this is not a court.